Today we're looking at Southern Gothic literature, the American nightmare. So, Southern Gothic literature is a distinctly American version of the Gothic literature that we already see, say, in Great Britain, like the 18th and 19th century works of Mary Shelley or Charlotte Bronte. And in the United States in the North, there was another kind of Gothic that you had with writers like Edgar Allan Poe. But Southern Gothic is something that, instead of looking to the supernatural, looks to social issues and how the things that we are doing in this life right now are creating the grotesque and the macabre. And particularly it looks at how this was working out in the American South after the Civil War. So issues of racism and slavery and how, and that is the sort of heartbeat of American Southern Gothic literature. Here we have American Gothic by Grant Wood. So it's most closely associated with prose fiction in novels and short stories. We read 3 short stories for today. So we were looking at A Rose for Emily by Faulkner, and then 2 by O'Connor, which include A Good Man's Hard to Find and The Life You Save May Be Your Own. Now, what are some themes that would identify these texts as specifically Southern Gothic rather than something else? The way they use irony, the way they're defining insiders and outsiders, the way social issues are sort of the source of the macabre and the Gothic rather than the supernatural. And then, of course, violence, decay, and the macabre. So, what you need to do for class today is come up with ways that you find these themes in the text that we read. And let's jump to A Rose for Emily and start pulling out, say, issues of decay. So, where do we see decay in William Faulkner's A Rose for Emily? What kind of words could be associated with decay? How about bloated? As a body decays, one of the things it does is bloat. And Emily is repeatedly described as, even in life, having this sort of bloated corpse-like look. Notice here, they talk about her skeleton as she's walking around. That's usually a word that you would associate with death. So do you see how death and decay are being already woven into descriptions of this woman's life? Now, another word would be smell. The smells that we see in this house of dust and disuse, the smells that they have to cover up with lime because it smells so bad. That is another sign of death and decay in this story. Why do they need to sprinkle lime at her house? And why do they do it at night when she can't see it? Well, one, that's a social commentary on this sort of artificial hierarchy and manners that you're getting in the South. But 2, the reason they're using the lime, right, is that she has, in fact, a rotting corpse up in her bedroom. And let's jump to that final image of the corpse. So after she dies and they break into her house, here's what they see. They see the man that she had been going with, had been hoping would marry her, lying in her bed. And they stood there and they look at this skeleton that is laying in an attitude of embrace. So he's laying in this bed as if he's laying with a lover. And he's rotted and become a part of the bed. But the most grotesque thing is this second pillow, where we see the indentation of a head. Again, we're getting into smells of death and decay, and an iron gray hair. What does the iron gray hair on the second pillow mean? It means that Miss Emily has been coming up and lying next to this body, even in her old age. This is the epitome of the grotesque and the macabre in Southern Gothic. So now what you need to do is look for these in all of these texts and post your comments in the comment box at the bottom of the page.